This morning while towing with my Wrangler, I ended up getting some really bad death wobble in one spot. So clearly there's something wrong. Last season I had to do a little bit of work with the steering damper. So I relocated it. Clearly something's awry because it's quite damp. I've also recently taken apart the track bar. So I had track bar back there. So I did check that bolt. It's nice and tight. The bolt at that end is tight as well. So now it's going to be a question of starting to do a little bit of wiggling to see where in the suspension something's loose. I did get an extra one. I know that the bolts back here for the HD track bar are hitting, so I'm going to have to turn them and put them somewhere else so they don't interfere. There's a nice big bump right about here. But there's clearly something else that caused this damper to fail. So time to figure it out. So even though the bolt is tight, there could be a problem with the actual mounting point. So the easiest telltale is if there's any exposed metal or clear metal. So I'm going to start the vehicle, start turning the wheel and see if there's anything that shifts in that general area. And then I'll work my way through the whole system until I find something that does have vibration or movement. So this is the unit that was in the vehicle. It got banged a few good times on the track bar bolt. I'll have to reposition it, but it's dead. And it's not even gliding smoothly. So this might have been the cause of my problem. I'll definitely have to keep checking, but yeah, just the way that this is, it's not a nice clean glide. Whereas a new one, you really have to push it and pull it. So I'll reinstall this one. I'll have to keep an eye on it. I can't find anything that's loose in the track bar, but the damper was definitely shot, and I'm not sure if there was anything that caused the O-ring to fail or if it just failed on its own. So there's different models of these. Some of them will actually have a boot cover, which honestly, if you're doing any off-roading, it can actually cause you more grief than good. But this one, the seal is just totally shot. So I'm not sure when that happened. But yeah, there's definitely something that failed in this unit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to push this sleeve out. So I've got a socket that's bigger than the sleeve. And on this side, I've got one that's about the same size as the sleeve. And I'll try to top it out. So I'll probably end up crushing the sleeve to be able to pull it out. Other option is just to push the whole sleeve out and move the one that was in the other damper. Because I mangled this side, I have to be a little bit more creative. So I'm putting a bolt. I've been pushing on the sleeve with the edge of the vise, and I'm using the other side of the vise on the lip here, and that allows me to put some pressure on the bushing itself. So I can see that it's pushing out. Release it. So it's starting to push in. I'll probably end up having to stack a few washers just to get this and keep going until it's through. And after that, I'll push the other one, the old one, in. So it's slowly working its way out. So I'll keep doing that until it's done. So now that the grommet is out of the unit, it's going to be a whole lot easier to top this out because there's less pressure on the outside. So I've already topped it once and it moves. So this is why I'm changing my strategy. From instead of pulling the old one out of the old unit, I can at least get the sleeve out. Of course, now my socket is stuck in there, but I'll get the socket out and then I can reinstall this into the unit and reinstall it in the vehicle. So yeah, the old unit had a much larger diameter hole than the new one, which I need to be able to slide onto the sleeve for the relocation kit. So at least it's out. Now I've got to fight to put it in. It's a little different than the old one, but it'll get in there. So a little bit of penetrating fluid allowed the grommet to easily slip into the sleeve, and a little bit of wiggling while it was still in the C-clamp or in the vise allowed it to center itself. So now it's ready to go back in the vehicle. Clearly this is the side that was towards the track bar, so I'll reinstall it the same way, and this side will have the flat washer and the lock nut. So clearly these two bolts were hitting the relocated steering damper under some articulation setups. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn these. I usually want them in line with the pinch seam, but I don't have that luxury here. So I'll turn them as much as I can. At least it just barely clears the bracket here for the upper control arm. This one's going to be out of everything. So it is what it is. Half the fun of having a modified Jeep, you got to adapt along the way. So on this one, you definitely want to slide the front or the on the tie rod that side first, and then push the other one in. I added a little bit of liquid here to help it slide on, so that wasn't too painful. Now it's just a question of tightening these up. I'll start it off with the impact. Funny how the Milwaukee, when you have it on the lowest setting, how it doesn't really take much for it to kick back. And now I'll finish it up with the wrenches and go for a test drive. So I just went for a good drive. It definitely feels a whole lot better now. I didn't feel anything that I was feeling before. So I'm not sure if the old damper was causing the issue. Definitely be keeping an eye on it and checking again. I compared a few things with my wife's. Hers, both the old one and the one on my wife's are the same units. Hers is nice and dry, so at least hers isn't failing. We'll see what happens. So thanks for watching. If this was interesting to you, please like and give me some feedback. If there's anything I can improve in the future, let me know. Bye for now.